Alright, I'm going to start primering the rest of this. I primered the head the other day because I was primering those eyes, and I had some leftover primer, so I just threw it on there, and you can see that it's all one color now instead of having the white filler and against that gray resin. So I didn't do the top deck or the bottom, and that's what I'm going to do now is just mix up a little primer and spray those real quick. Get that drying so I can start the paint. Well, I primered it. Apparently I didn't press the play button, so I didn't record any of that. But the primer's done. I'm going to let that sit for at least 24 hours, degas as much as possible, and then we're going to start throwing down some paint. I actually forgot to do a couple parts now that I'm looking at it. I forgot to do the little gun and the antennas, which I have not assembled yet. So maybe I should do that now. I gotta do these super thin antennas. I left it long because I'm gonna cut it off and it gives me a handle. Alright, we've got it all primered. All the parts are ready to be painted. I'm gonna start off with doing a bit of an undercoat. And I'm gonna do rust as an undercoat. I've seen some reference photos where you can see a little bit of warmth and a little bit of an orange color coming through from underneath, and I've seen some people like spray sort of thin down, color over the top, and it kind of gets everything. And that's not what I want. I want it to be in specific spots. So I'm going to just hit some spots with a little rust in places and make that available for when I spray it in. I can leave it a little bit thinner and have that orange come through. All right. I've not used this color of Archive X yet, so it's a nice shade. Nice orange, kind of brownish color, so rusty, which is 1975 rust. I'm excited to try it out, so I'm going to mix a little bit up. I'm not going to need very much. This stuff is very thick. The other kind of spray, I was like, wow, this is a... Yeah, that's like super thick. I don't know. See how much is in there. It's just a tiny little bit in the bottom. Should have put on that little cup, but I don't like switching back and forth. A little test squirt on my scrap here. Oh yeah. It's a nice color. Alright, you see it's all slightly orange and splotchy in spots. That's going to show through just a hair when I put on the Grimy black and other black that I have that I'm going to use. Just kind of like, it's kind of like what they call it when they paint the panel lines and stuff like that, a darker color, except it's kind of the reverse. I'm painting the color that I want to have shown through. And it's not necessarily on a panel line, it's just kind of some color. like hell. It's temporary. Alright, this is going to be the tricky one because I got this cable to deal with. So the color I'm going to use is Grimy Black to paint this main color on here. Now there are like little spots that are going to have like a reddish color or reddish orange color. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to use boxcar red or reefer orange for those yet, but I'm not worried about that because I got to get the base color down. And then I'm going to go through and find all those spots and mark them and decide if I'm going to try and airbrush that on or just brush it on. So anyways, let's get some color mixing. Alright, so we're done painting that. We're going to let it degas a little bit, and then I'm going to have to go through and do some touch-ups, just little spots here and there where I didn't get paint or I didn't get enough paint. You know, like you'll spray one way, and because there's a ridge or something like that, or something dropped off, there's not paint on the other side. So I'll have to do that, but the color's turning out really great. That rust underneath is coming out perfect, exactly what I wanted. It's real subtle. I'm not even sure if the camera can pick it up, but we're going to try. I'm going to show you guys real quick. Alright. So you can see there's a little bit of warmth in some of these spots. And that's just because of that undercoat. And there's a little bit here, because this is a little bit thinner. It was hard to paint because of the way I had to hold it. But you can see some of that color coming through. You can also see where I couldn't get, there's little white edges there. So that's the kind of areas I was talking about having to touch up. And then over here on the legs, there's several spots. There's usually around these joints and stuff, there's a lot of little nooks and crannies, like right there in that edge. There's some spots down here at the base that are lacking color, although you probably won't even see them once it's, you know, on its stand like that because it's on the bottom. There's a lot of intricate relief in there. The only thing that I see that I guess I don't want to say I'm not happy with is I haven't thought of what I'm going to do to deal with it, is it's very flat. Like the sheen is very flat, and looking at the reference photos, I noticed that it had a little bit of a sheen to it, a little bit of a more satiny type thing. So what I think I'm going to do is what I did on some of my other hand props is I'm going to go in and just like rub and polish spots on this to give it that slightly smoother you know, look, that more metal look versus just painted look. So we'll do that later. I don't want to rub it too soon after painting it. I just want to let it cure up and do all my touch-ups first. But the painting is, the base painting is pretty much done. I'll have to do some detail painting. There's little orange marks that get painted on there. And I still gotta glue some parts together. Like I gotta cut the antennas and fit them in the holes. I gotta put that little gun on. It sits on the deck somewhere, and it's super close to done right now. Alright guys, I put it on the temporary stand just to kind of see what it looks like. Looks pretty good. Color's spot on. The warmth is showing through here on the knuckles and other spots where I wanted it. I do still have to go through and do some touch up, like you can see some bald spots here. Like right here at the top of these things, they got to be touched up. There's a little bit of a mark where I handled it, so they'll have to be hit again. But yeah, I'm really digging it. That Archive X color, Grimy Black, it's perfect. Trying to focus on that foot, but it's not coming through. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with this so far. I'm gonna do a little bit of touch up here, and yeah, it's a little thin there, right there. It's also different because I was holding it upside down for so long that now that it's right side up, I can see where I missed. Like there's a big bald spot right there, and one like right along that edge, and that one too. I guess those edges are tough to get in. Yeah, that one. So Alright, here it is. Just for fun, I stuck the antennas in. They have not been cut down. I'm gonna do that later. I actually have to touch it up because there's a slightly bald spot I didn't see earlier. Nothing is really glued together. It's ready to be, the details need to be put on it. Like there's like the top of one of these little things is orange on a couple of them, and there's a few other spots. I'll have to glue on the eyes that I made. I think they're gonna look really great once they're on there. The light does work. I didn't paint over it. I turned it on earlier and it looks really cool. I do need to do more touching up. I've done several rounds of touching up, but every time I walk away from it and then come back, I can see more spots, like, you know, the claw here, and yeah, the claw is really bad. The top of right there's got some. This is a little faint. This is a little light. It could be hit from the top direction as well. There's just like little spots here and there. There's a spot right there I need to get, and along this edge in that direction. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this, really. So anyways, let's see if I can get a good close-up here of some of these parts. Yeah. But pretty happy with this. So next video, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna detail this out. I'm gonna glue the eyes on, cut the antennas down to the right length. I need to decide if I'm gonna display them in their up position or their down position, or close to down position. And I gotta glue this little guy on, this little gun. It's gonna go on the deck somewhere. So coming soon.